welcome back to our Unleashed series of interviews. We are interviewing the bands that are playing New Metal Fest in Wrexham on the 27th and 28th of September. Again, I keep reminding you all, don't forget, it is my birthday weekend, so let's make it a good one. So tonight I have got Alex from New Metal Productions faves, Bloodmores. How you doing, Alex?
I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for inviting me on.
No worries. So, obviously, you played a few gigs for us now. Just
Yeah,
tell us how you feel about coming back and playing for us.
really, really excited to come back to Wrexham. We've only done the one with you in Wrexham, whereas we've done Pentrafest and I think just another random one at
Mhm.
um, the same venue. But yeah, this will only be the second time we've come back to Wrexham, so I'm really looking forward to it.
So, um, as we have done this before, and well, regrettably, as you informed us before, it didn't get used. We'll rehash some of that ground. So, tell us a little bit about Bloodmores. Obviously, where you come from, because you played for us with Ward 16 back in the day.
Yeah,
So, uh, give us a bit of, you know, the beginnings of Bloodmores and where it came from.
yeah. So me and Rick, our guitarist, were trying to get this off the ground for years, really. We've sort of had it in the pipeline in the background of other bands that we were in. Like I say, I was in Ward 16 at the time. Rick had his other band, and it just sort of got put on the back burner for ages. What would become Bloodmores, and then eventually we finally got like a full lineup. We got the first album completed, and we put that out while I was still in ward. But then I ended up leaving and concentrating on Bloodmores full time not long after our first album had come out. And then 2 years after that, we had our second album ready, Too Close to the Sun, which did really well for us and ended up leading us to yourselves and to Bloodstock and Summer Slammer and all sorts of other events. And so it's just been an amazing journey so far from going from like nothing, like just jamming in my student room at uni to being here with this project and working on album number three. It's been quite a journey.
Right. So, obviously, album number three, as you mentioned it, that's probably the best place to take it next. So, we can talk about the earlier albums a little bit later. Tell us what you've got coming up, and
Uh,
where, if there's anything different or new influences, things like that.
Album three is quite different. It's still very us, very heavy, but we've sort of branched out a bit, and there's more melodic side to our influences. And I'm going to be singing more. Rather, there's still going to be a lot of screaming, like primarily, because obviously we are a melodic death metal thrash type of band. But yeah, we're going to branch out into some new territory and hopefully win some new followers with it.
Okay, so for those that don't know, you mentioned your first two albums that have done really well. Obviously, I have listened to them. You actually made one of my Spotify festival lineup things, when you used to do that sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, it's stuff I have enjoyed. Tell us a little bit about how you go along with your writing and the music and some influences where it all comes from.
Yeah, I mean, the writing side of it for the first album, it was just me and Rick, like jamming stuff between our houses. We didn't have a full lineup at the time. We put the full band together pretty much when the album was nearly complete. Album two was quite different because we had the full lineup and we could, work on ideas together. But we ended up bouncing a lot of it back and forth, still digitally and like remotely because we recorded it during pandemic and lockdown and stuff. So we were only actually in the room like together, I think once during like all four of us were only together once for the entire recording process. So it was still quite like individually writing things and then bringing ideas together rather than jamming stuff, which does work for me because I'm not a big fan of. I can't really concentrate when everyone's jamming something different and trying to figure out their own parts and things. I'd rather do it at home and then present more of a complete idea to everyone when I'm happy with something. In terms of influences, there's a lot of bands that we all like, and there's we've all got our own individual styles and stuff. So like we all like Trivium and Machine Head and Gojira, but like some that we all enjoy. Then for Rick, our guitarist, he's a lot more into thrash than I am, so he's big into like Megadeth and Silosis and Testament and things. Our bass player, Rick Simpson, is into like some more like old school death metal stuff. So I've seen him listen to like Possessed and Bloodbath and things. And then Chris, our drummer, who is also playing with Lythium on the same day as us at your event. When it comes to influences for Bloodmores, it's more like Lamb of God and Amon Amarth and some Judas Priest in there as well. For me, personal influences, Hypocrisy are a big one for me. And my current obsession is the latest Flesh God Apocalypse album, Opera, which is
Okay.
just like I can't get enough of it. I think it's my album of the year by miles. I think it's perfect. That's my current obsession.
Well, to be fair, I mean, I've seen Flesh God Apocalypse a few times, and I just remember how blown away by them I was the first time I saw them. But at the same time, I can say that about you guys as well. Uh,
You too.
so, so just talking about your writing styles and stuff like that. It's one of the things that does interest me. Is when I'm talking to them, talking to bands and stuff. Is every band seems to have a slightly different way of writing. Like some of them, like will come in with different ideas and they'll bounce them off each other and things like that. Some of them are just like, right, I'm writing it. This is what it
Yeah,
is, and you don't know what's going to happen until it's actually recorded and stuff like that. So, um, with your third album, and obviously now with the freedom to be with everybody else, has that
yeah.
changed your styles?
Yeah, slightly. Especially since adding Rick Simpson on bass, he jams ideas in the room and like he'd say bounce ideas off each other more. There's a track on album three that was like almost exclusively written together rather than the separated writing styles that we've done before, which was quite different for us. We still do a lot of it quite remotely though, and like put together demos at home and then present it to the full group. Because me and having done Too Close to the Sun fully remotely, me and Rick have completely like studio setups at home. You can see mine behind me. So we can record full demos with just like digital drums as a baseline for what you've got in your mind. And then Chris will like, okay, this sounds good. I've got ideas for this part, and then he'll add his style to, the drums. Because like I played the drums was my first instrument, and so I have an idea of like what I would do. But then Chris goes, okay, that part works, but I think I would do this differently, and then he'll add his like flair to it.
Right. Okay. So, just to touch talking about Rich and Simpson. Obviously, I didn't realize he joined you when he first came to play for us. Um,
Right?
and we've got a bit of history with him. He played some of the Mosh Against Cancer shows that we were involved in back in the day with his band Austerium.
Yeah.
Still probably can't pronounce it right, you know. And obviously, it was great to see him back up there because I hadn't seen him for a long time. So, how did you go about dragging him along, and what he brought to the band that you might not have had previously?
I mean, he's got a lot of like touring experience and things that he brought in, and he's he has a luthier as well, so he's made like all his own instruments, and it's really cool to have someone like that on board that knows
Yeah,
the tech side of things. When we auditioned him, it was our previous manager, Ollie. Ollie
yeah.
Gonzalez.
Mhm.
Yeah, he was our manager at the time, and when Connor, our original bassist, left the band, Ollie filled in for a bit. He learned a few tracks, so we didn't have to cancel any appearances or anything. And then he scouted Rick and introduced himself and said, "I represent this band. I think you'd be a really good fit." So we had him over to Blackburn, nearby to me and Chris, for an audition. And he learned just a couple of tracks and just blew us away. Like we were just so impressed. And he's just such a down to earth guy. And like he left, and we all just sort of looked at each other and went, "Surely we're going to invite him to join us full time." He was so good. So yeah, he lives quite a bit further away from us than like me. Rick and Chris live fairly close to each other, whereas Rick Simpson comes in from near Stoke to rehearse. So he's committed. He makes the journey, and we sort of said to him, we're not expecting you to make the journey, say every weekend or something for rehearsal. If you can just do your own thing at home, get up to speed with tracks, and then just join us whenever you can, sort of thing. We're more than happy, and that's worked for us, since he joined in 2021. He's been with us a couple of years now. Yeah, or 22, one of them.
Right. Okay. So that's cool. So, with regards to your merch now, first before I'd even heard you play, I had high expectations of you because I walked into the venue and I saw your t-shirts. Now,
Yeah.
anyone who knows me knows I'm a bit of a merch whore. And I literally just said, if these are any good, then t-shirts are getting bought. But I won't just buy a t-shirt until I hear the band because sometimes you think, oh yeah, the t-shirts are better than the band. But as good as your t-shirts are, you know, you're still an awesome band. So have you got any new merch for idiots like myself who just want to spend money and throw them at you?
Uh, we've not got anything new since the last time you saw us. We've got the same merch lineup as Pentrafest, but I've got a lot of ideas for a new line to accompany album 3 when that's ready.
That'll be based on the album artwork and things like that, will it?
I'm not a huge fan of a t-shirt that's just an album art, printed on the front of it. I like something a bit more unique that stands out a bit more. So all of our artwork, each t-shirt is based on the lyrics from a track.
Right.
So the first one that we did was a Metamorphosis t-shirt, which is the opening track from our first album. Then when we did Too Close to the Sun, the second album, we did the Virulence t-shirt with the lyrics on the back, and then a white noise t-shirt on a white t-shirt because it writes itself, doesn't it? And then more recently, we've done the Suicide Pact t-shirt and the Crypt of the Blasphemous long sleeve with the print down the arms, which has been really popular. I'm a big fan of a long sleeve merch with some lyrics or some logos or something on the arms. And so we've finally got around to printing one of our own. We've sold really, really well.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll see what we've got. I've got a couple. I haven't got them all, so we'll see. We'll see what happens when we get there. So with regards to the show, are we expecting some new material in there?
We're not playing any album 3 material, but we're bringing some album 1 tracks that haven't been played for a long time back into the set list and sort of reintroducing them. There's one track in there in particular. It used to be quite a regular appearance in our set lists, and then after Too Close to the Sun came out, for whatever reason, it just sort of got sidelined. We're bringing a track back that we haven't played for about at least 3 years now, so we have got something a little special lined up. Yeah.
Oh, good stuff. So what I've been asking some of the other bands is as well is obviously it's Wrexham, and as Wrexham's in the news quite a lot the last few years about the football team and the owners of them and things like that. Always invite them. Ryan Reynolds, Rob McElhenney, they've got a permanent invite to our shows. They haven't turned up yet. So I'm going to ask you, how do we get them to the show?
I think you're not going far enough, and you should invite the full cast of Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I think that'd be incredible. Because one of them might turn up. If Danny DeVito turned up to our gig, it would be the best day of my life.
Can you imagine that Danny DeVito turning up to one of our shows? That'd be nuts. So, well, anyway, I will put that in, and you never know, we might see what happens. Is there any other business, anything else you'd like to get off your chest or like us to talk about?
I mean, the big one that we've been, working on and getting ready to promote once it's ready is album number 3. I feel like every time I bring it up, I'm introducing it at gigs now where we play, and in between tracks I'm just like, this is what we've been working on, and every time I feel like I'm getting, it's getting closer, and like now it's musically it's one song away. It's the music's there. There's one track to finish off in terms of music, and then it's just lyrics, which I'm about halfway through. I'm about 5 or 6 tracks in, so it's well on its way. It's definitely on the cards soon.
So do you have an ETA for it?
Not really. I was hoping to record it this year. Could still happen. It's looking more likely to record it early next year and then release it later in the year.
Do you have a plan of action once it's ready, once it's out, or
Hoping we've been getting a lot of lists of promoters and venues and things where we've been and they've enjoyed our show and wanted to invite us back. And we've said, look, album 3 is on the cards. When the time comes, would you be interested in having us for a headline show? And so we've got this list ready. And when the time comes, we're hoping for an album 3 headline tour.
brilliant? Count us in.
Excellent. Thank you very much. We'd love to.
No worries. Well, why not? If there's nothing else, then I'll wrap this up quickly. Just what's left to say is thank you for giving us your time.
No, thank you.
It's going to be a cracking few days. Don't forget, everybody, catch Bloodmores on the Friday, 27th of September. All right. Thank you, Alex.
No, thank you for having me. Cheers. Hey everyone, I'm Alex, the frontman with the band Bloodmores, and this next track you're going to hear is Virulence, which is the opening track from our second album, Too Close to the Sun.
Culture of the plague, Just